Warning. If you're a snowflake or get easily offended or triggered,
Please end this transmission now, otherwise stay tuned.
welcome to Weird and Woke. With your hosts,
Austin.
and Basil. But prepare to be awoken.
We are live. Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome. It's been a minute, and a minute's not even a word. It's been an hour at this point.
Way past the minute. Yeah, we know we didn't. We've been gone for a while. We didn't disappear from the face of the earth. We're still here.
Yeah, the place we normally would go to do our podcast recordings, they been kind of on lockdown because of the whole fucking COVID and shit. So it's been a mess trying to get in there. So we're actually doing something new where we're recording it ourselves. So if it sounds a little weird, it doesn't sound as professional, we're sorry. We're still learning, but we just wanted to, finally get something back to you guys for that actually were listening and we're kind of getting interested. And they're like, well, where the fuck did they go?
Right. Yeah. Just working on a game plan. There's been a lot going on in the world lately too, so that adds to it.
Yeah, just all sorts of things, fucking corona, places shutting down, some places opening back up despite stupid fucking reasons that they're opening back up. The main talking point that we'll also be discussing later today is the fucking elections. The whole political agenda that's been going on for like the fucking longest of time.
Yeah, that on top of the coronavirus, you have the election. That just adds even more stress to people.
Right, like people are thinking, how am I gonna vote? Can I vote? Like they got this whole new voting system. Is that gonna be secure to where my vote can actually go through, count for what I want, all that other stuff? Like so many questions and things go into this whole voting thing nowadays with the coronavirus being stupid.
Whole thing is just a big mess. There's a lot of things we'll get into as we go along in this episode today. A lot of conspiracy,
definitely
some things that have seemed to come out that are possibly true and or not possibly true. But
that's what makes it a conspiracy, baby. It makes you think, makes you question. Doesn't have to be correct, but it's just something you didn't think about until it was brought to your attention.
Gets you thinking, gets you to open your mind a little bit and question everything, not just accept what you're being told.
Oh, well, that's what life's all about, man. You ask questions, you learn, you explore. You don't just go along with the program handed to you and then expect everything to be hunky-dory,
Yeah, that's true. Everybody, I don't know, everybody just goes with the flow and doesn't just accepts what is going on, and not always the best way to live, but that's just how people are. They're in their own little zone. As long as everything's fine with them, they don't care about anything else as long as their life is good and things are working out for them.
That's where the term ignorance is bliss comes in, man.
That's true.
Sometimes it is good to be ignorant in certain topics. Like there are times where you learned about things, you're like, damn, I really wish I didn't learn about that. Like, don't get me wrong, it's like it's good to have that knowledge, but sometimes it can be a burden having all that knowledge.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially now, like if you would go back to like I don't know, before we had smartphones and everything and the internet, people didn't have that type of knowledge of they weren't able to spread that type of knowledge to other people that fast at a time.
Pretty much, if you read it in the newspaper, you're like, oh, this must be factual. I can't do my own research on it.
I have no other way unless you go read a book, but books aren't always. You can't update a book.
No, you can't.
So it's like
nowadays, it's like anybody can write anything, and then it can easily be debunked or edited to where it's like, hey, this is the actual truth, or these
Right.
are certain plot points that you decided to leave out for whatever reasons.
But yeah, so we have pretty good episode for you guys today. So let me put this out here for you guys, avid listeners. Before we get this show started, we have a discount code. It's WNW, all uppercase, POD, all uppercase as well. One word. That's WNW POD. It's a 15% off discount code at weirdandwoke.com.
Check it out, check it out. Last time we did this shit, it was nothing but shirts and hoodies, but now we got bags, hats, I think shoes, some
Yeah, you got
other
some
good stuff
shoes
on
on
there.
there.
Expanding the brand. It's not just a shirt and a hoodie nowadays. Like, it's almost anything you can wear on your body. We're getting into that, and it's not your typical designs no more. Now we're starting in something new, some new designs, new color schemes and all that. We're starting to do some for you tie-dye fans out there, starting to get some tie-dye stuff on there.
Yeah, we'll have some tie-dye coming soon for you guys.
Yep.
It's not out yet, but we got some stuff that we haven't released yet.
Yeah,
So hopefully you guys stick around for that. I'm sure you guys will like it. I know I do.
give it time. We're trying to get more interesting. Like, we're trying to make the brand stick out, diversify it, get into other people's interests, like try to make it look like something you would like, but also still putting our mark on it.
Exactly. Yeah, keep an eye out also for we're working on a new so if you think about it, Nike, Puma, they all have a specific symbol that you would recognize. We're working on a symbol for the Weird and Woke brand. So keep an eye out for that. And we're also going to be working on a new potential logo for the podcast itself. So keep an eye out for that as well.
Yep. Something you can help associate with us. Like, if you see it around, you'll be like, oh, I know exactly who those guys are. Those are the Weird and Woke bros. We got to check them out.
Exactly. And we got right now it's just me and Basil doing the show, but I have a couple people that would love to get on the show here. Been holding off on that for now, just till we figure out what we want to do and all that with the brand.
Yeah,
But
like I said, once we get that game plan set up, we're going to be having much more steady episodes coming through, more content, more people coming in, giving their opinions. And, for you listeners out there, don't be afraid to hit us up. We could possibly get you on the podcast. Check us out on our socials, Twitter and Instagram, Weird and Woke Pod, all one word.
yeah, definitely hit us up. If you ever want to get on the show or, certain subject or you have some information that you want to give to us and we can kind of figure out how we want to go about it, just, hit us up. See what we can do with it.
Just like, your teachers will tell you, there are no stupid questions. There is no wrong info. It's just only info. What you do with it is on you. But we just like to give it to you so you have that option to decide.
Yeah. Very open thoughts and opinions on things. So if you do get offended, well, then I'm sorry. That is your own choice.
Look, this whole podcast, like, we ain't trying to jip you. Like, from Jump Street, we tell you to have an open mind because we're going to be talking about things that might not sit well with you. But, if you're willing to listen, then that speaks volumes of your character. If you're willing to get offended over some people just talking some opinions, then it shows you have some growing to do. But I'm just going to leave it at that. But main thing is, today we're going to be talking about the election. I personally went out and voted. I hope a lot of you guys went out and voted too. Not saying, trying to make this a PSA thing. It's already past the date anyway for elections, but it's just, there are many places and many people that have fought for the rights of other people to vote. And I'm not just saying it because I'm black. I'm talking about women too. Even the time period we live in now, there are certain countries where they don't get to choose who their leader is. They live under dictatorships and have to deal with it. We as the United States, have a voice to choose who is going to lead and represent us. Just take that in mind when you're like, oh, I don't feel like voting. It's like, think about that. You know, some people don't have that choice. They would jump at the chance. You ain't gotta like the person you're voting for, but if they at least have some ideas that could possibly benefit you, your country, or your whole economic system, you know, just go out there. Your voice
Right.
matters.
I mean, yeah, this was my first time actually voting since I was of age.
Yeah,
I'm 20.
this
I'm
has been my
27
second.
now.
I am 24. This has been my second. But another thing I like to throw out there, it's like, you know, I'm not politically affiliated. I don't fully identify as a Democrat or a Republican. I choose to vote for who I think will better America in itself. If they happen to be Republican, so be it. If they have to be Democrat, so be it. Or if we want to get really interesting, if they happen to be the third party, so be it. I don't go by my party. And you see that
Right, right.
that is what ultimately divides us as a nation. We pick parties.
Well, that's like when I registered.
Yeah.
When I registered this year, like you could pick your party, you could pick your Democrat, your Republican, and then there was an option on the website you could choose to basically if you choose to not affiliate with any of the parties,
Excuse me.
you can't vote. You can't vote in the was it the ones before the election. Not the is it the primary?
I believe it is the primaries.
Yeah, you can't vote in the primaries, but you can vote in the actual election for the president. But
Yeah. I honestly, I never vote in the primaries. I usually just vote for the presidency.
yeah.
Not saying,
So
you know,
I
you shouldn't, but like I said,
No,
I'm not
to each
politically
their
aware.
own.
Yeah, like, you know,
To each their own.
it is what it is. But back to that main little nugget of subject, it's like I said, I never really was politically affiliated because in terms of picking parties, it's like there are times when you're limiting yourself to like certain people's ideals, philosophies, things that could just help us better as a whole. Like you would pick your party's electee for the simple purpose they're a part of your party, and it's like, and honest truth, it's like, you know, they're bad, you know, they're not going to help you, but you're like, I'll be damned if I vote for the other party, fuck that party. And then it's like you're purposely hurting yourself and others because you're fixated on that one party you think you should be aligned with,
Right.
whereas
right.
in reality you shouldn't be. It's like anything. If you
You just let it
do
take over your identity, basically.
exactly, it's like with anything. If you pick one specific thing, like if you are, you know, obviously dating someone and you pick someone of a specific race, you're limiting yourself of all the possibilities of a great relationship you could have because you only like someone of a specific race.
Right. Yeah, that happens a lot, actually.
It really does.
I see girls do that a lot. Like,
It's like, you
especially,
know, oh, go ahead, bro.
no, you're good. Like I'll see like a white girl or something, and she'll be like, "I only like black guys or light skinned guys," but they're not a white guy. They're like Puerto Rican or something else. But it's like, why limit yourself like that? Like, I like all the races. I don't really care what you are.
No, I feel that. I feel that. I bet, look, if I vibe with you and I feel something with you, I don't care.
Exactly.
Like, you know, I don't care if you white, black, Asian, whatever, pretty, ugly. It's like if I feel you on a
Right.
on a spiritual level that I'm attracted to you in multiple ways, I'm going for it.
Nah, I feel yeah. Like if you have that, if you just feel that connection, then you're obviously why not try and pursue that connection if you feel something.
Exactly.
Otherwise, you're just, you know, yeah.
Like I
But
said,
anyway,
it all relates even to, like, you know, back to going to conspiracy theories, like where people immediately shut it down. It's like, why are you limiting yourself to the knowledge others feed you instead of, you know, seeking the knowledge for yourself and determining your own opinion?
right. Like it went like I have been trying not to argue so much on social media because people are just stupid, and like not just because they don't agree with my opinion. That I'm not saying they're stupid,
Yeah.
but just the stuff that they say and or like, you know, they try and make it personal.
Right. Like, it's like they'll make it like you're personally attacking them when it's like, really,
Yeah.
you're just like, I'm not attacking you. I'm not attacking what you believe in. I'm just offering you something more.
Right. Like I'm just offering you a different, what's the word? Perception?
Perspective.
perspective, yeah, different perspective, to see it. Like, I see when I look at things completely different than most people do. So when I try and offer like a view on a certain specific subject or something, they're like, "Oh, well, you're just a moron. You're just eh." It's
Yeah.
like, no,
It's
I'm
like you're
just
just
trying
throwing out
to,
random shit that doesn't make
yeah,
sense, or it's
yeah,
like that's fake news. It's like no news is, fake or true. It's just news. It's what you choose to
right,
do
right.
with it that determines if it's real or not to you.
Now, until it's debunked and or you've done your research on it to be actually factual, then you could call it fake news if it actually did or did not happen,
Yeah.
or this is not actually to be true. But you can't just, you know, accept it and be true or not true till you actually do your own research.
Yeah, like get a little segue point to it. It's basically like in terms of like the judicial system. It's like when you get arrested, you're innocent until proven guilty. It's the same
Hmm.
thing with knowledge. It's like it's not saying it's real or false. It's there until proven if it's false or real. But don't just immediately shoot it down. It's like, do you have counter evidence to shoot down what I'm talking about? Or are you just going to be one of those people that say that's not real, that's fake, that's stupid, you're stupid, and then provide no statements to it? Like,
Right.
I'm providing things for you to look into yourself, whether you want to or not. It's like, is it real? I don't know. It's just something I came across and it sounded interesting to me that I wanted to share it with others.
Hmm. And like, yeah, um, I'm not gonna say any names. I'm not gonna, because basically I was just saying, talking to this one guy,
Hmm.
saying kind of my opinion and my views on some things, and he just took it a whole different direction. Like, so you can call me crazy, you can say what you want. I'm not totally convinced. I'm not. I'm kind of in the middle. So when it comes to the Earth, you
Hmm.
could say, like, like I said, I'm in the middle. I've done research a little bit here and there. Um, I'm not convinced. I'm not totally sold, but it's possible that it is a flat plane and we're in a dome. That's just a possibility. I'm
Okay.
not. I'm not. Disowning it. I'm not. You know. I question everything. So it could be real. It could be not real. We could be living on a ball, right?
True. True.
And this guy, he's like, oh, he's um, just so whenever you say, oh, it's fake news or whatever, you're automatically put into a box that you're a Trump supporter or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I'm not a supporter for either candidate. Like, I voted, doesn't matter who I voted for, but it just matters that, like, who cares who I voted for? At the same time, I shouldn't be put in a box because of who I voted for and because of my views on certain things. Those are my views. Those aren't doesn't matter. They might relate to the Democratic or the Republican Party,
Exactly.
but that doesn't make me either one of those. Those
Exactly.
are my views on how I see the reality and society. So when he was saying, "Oh, you're just a moron. You think the Earth's flat and all this," is like, okay. Again, I maybe see something differently that you don't see. Like, get over yourself. There's no reason to.
Right, right. It's like, why do I have to agree with what you agree? It's like if someone challenges your opinion, it's like they're automatically a moron, a stupid, or whatever. It's like if everyone thought with the one same conscious mind, it would basically be a dictatorship.
Mhm.
It's like the reason why. It's like why live in the so-called land of the free that as soon as you voice your opinion, you're wrong, stupid, don't know what you're talking about. It's like, well, thanks for letting me voice my opinion. That's what I love so much about America.
Exactly. Like people are, they don't want, like, I don't know if it was more it was if it was different back then, to where if you voiced your opinion, people were more open to hear it. But it just seems that, like, people everybody's allowed to have their opinion now, so it's like if you have your opinion, it's automatically wrong because it goes against their opinion,
Exactly, exactly.
which I don't see how that makes any sense. That everybody's mind and perception of things is completely different than another person's. Some people have the same similar views and perceptions of reality and everything that we go on daily in the world, but not, not everybody has the same type of views. So it's like, if you're not open minded to the point that if I would present you with new information, you don't, you just shut. If you're not open minded, you're gonna, any information or anything different that I would present you with, you're just gonna automatically shut off and not even think about it or look into it. You just be, oh no, that's a conspiracy. That's fake. That would never happen. But you know what? There's things that have happened recently that have come out that have been true. So a lot of things, that you call conspiracies are actually truths. They've
Exactly.
actually have happened. They've been proven that they have actually happened and to be true.
No, you're right. There's like as soon as something isn't a immediately proven, it's considered a conspiracy, a fake, and it's like, well, give it time. Like I said, innocent till proven guilty. It's like
Hmm.
let it run its course. Don't immediately shoot it down. It's the same thing with the different news stations. Like you have WGAL, Fox, NBC. NBC might be WGAL. I don't watch the news. Don't fucking question me. But you got fucking, yeah, what is it? Fox, CNN, MSNBC, all those different
Right.
news stations that report different things aligning with like different views. It's like there might be an event that they're both talking about, but they'll say it from different perspectives, so it'll look entirely like a different news. But it's the same thing, just from different perspectives, from different avenues, from ways that like help that one person. Like I would not I would not doubt that there are certain news stations that affiliate with certain political parties to help boost that
Hmm.
political party's rep, where they'll announce certain things as one way, versus the other news station that is for the other party will announce it another way.
Right.
It's
Like,
like
yeah, like when you like you said, once you picked or go to that side of the political agenda, and whoever owns that news media is going to push that side, and that's where you get people fighting, going head to head because, oh, you're fake, oh, that's fake. That's why people are constantly at each other's throats.
exactly.
And it
There's so much separation that it's like
Mhm.
even it's like you have multiple news outlets, and it's like even then it's like they're not helping. It's like
No,
you
I
have the
mean,
same thing and you'll put your own spin on it to make things worse.
right,
It's like
they're pushing their own agenda basically.
let's do another quick segue, like back to the coronavirus, where it's like certain news stations will like fucking trying to think of the right word, basically exaggerate the death rates
Right,
of
right.
the coronavirus. And it's like, again, we're not saying it's not a serious virus. It can kill people. Like, let's not get it twisted. But the numbers just do not match up when you know,
Hmm.
like, the death rate of it is what was it? Is it like 2%? Less than 2%
I think
out of
it's
the out of
less
the
than two
entire
percent.
population, and it's like, where are you getting these numbers from?
Right. Yeah, that just doesn't make any sense at all.
It's like you're
Less than 2%, and yeah.
it's like you're just exaggerating it to build fear around it, which obviously fear is obviously a tool used to control people.
Hmm.
It's not no secret, you know. It's what dictators use in their own countries. They use their overwhelming force and fear to keep those people they rule over in line.
Exactly. I mean, I always use, I mean, the Nazi Party as an example. Look what Hitler did. He used the news. Used the propaganda to
Exactly.
to to pretty much brainwash people into thinking he was a good guy. And look, and you see what happened with that.
As like
So,
a higher level of Stockholm syndrome.
hmm.
That is like a mass hysteria level of Stockholm syndrome. For those who don't know what Stockholm syndrome is, it's basically if you were kidnapped And if you spent so much time with your kidnapper, you would eventually start developing feelings for your kidnapper. That is the Stockholm syndrome taking over, to where you're starting to look at the kidnapper as a protector. Because even though it's not like the best conditions, they're still taking care of you, all that other shit, to where it's like your brain will start hardwiring you to like this person, to make the traumatic experience easier on you. And it's the same thing with like what you said when you brought up with Hitler. It's like this man was killing people like left and right, but it was just
Right.
his his voice, charisma, like the control he had over the people with the fear. It's like that changed it to where it became a massive, basically, thing of Stockholm.
Stockholm mind control,
There you go.
Stockholm syndrome,
There
a,
you go.
physi- a physiological phenomenon in which hostages express empathy and have positive feelings towards their captors, sometimes to the point of defending them.
Thank you for that Google definition, because my shit sounded horrible.
No, you're good.
But like you guys get the point. And then if you want to incorporate that more, that's literally how political people are. They use not so much fear. Actually, no, they do use fear.
No, they used fear a
They
lot.
use not the fear of them ruling over you, but the fear of others' actions and events going on in life to make you believe in them.
I mean, that's exactly what they're doing with the coronavirus,
Exactly.
and I mean, they do the same thing with these gun what are they, the like the mass shootings and stuff, all those mass shootings that were going on.
Oh, definitely. They always make sure to use
They
that
they
as a fear tactic.
they
Like
push their agenda for gun control and all that. That's how they're using your fear of being killed basically to basically take your guns away, which is an amendment of the United States. There's a reason that's there.
yeah, that's a whole nother subject we're gonna get into, especially because we have a friend of ours. If we can get him on here, he could definitely give you some
Oh
insight
yeah,
on that.
definitely. I mean, if we're doing it like this, we could definitely bring them on.
Oh, definitely. But like like my boy Austin said, it's like it's that fear that people use. It's like, oh, this the whole gun control thing. Like if you want to go a step further, not so much fear, but as enticement. Remember when Trump was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna give you guys a stimulus check, and you got it. Some people didn't. That's very unfortunate. And then the fact is, a lot of people thought we were going to get a second round of stimulus checks. Never happened. You know why it didn't
Right.
happen? Is because Trump started acting like a goddamn child. Instead of just thinking about, the economic futures of the United States residents, who some people really could have used that extra 1,200, he
Sure.
decided to be a baby about it. And, another thing is just like, we can't always say it's always the president. Like, it couldn't have always been Trump. It could have been the other people in the fucking, was it the House? Like I said, I'm not super politically aware, so if I'm wrong on
I'm
certain
not
things,
sure.
I
The
apologize.
House of
But
Representatives,
it's like the
it's
president.
cabinet.
Yeah, it's like House or cabinet, but nonetheless, it's like the president just can't pass and do whatever he wants. Like it has to go through a system, and if there's
Like,
anyone that can block it, it fucks them over. So it's like there are
right.
sometimes, like I said, like who like I don't know. Trump could have easily had some good ideas that could have helped us, and it could have gotten blocked by the opposite party, the Democrats. It's the same thing like when fucking Obama was in office. He could have easily had some good ideas and it got blocked by the Republicans. Like it's a never-ending cycle. Like whoever's in the fucking seat of power, there's always going to be people that oppose them simply because they're on the opposite side.
And I think that's what, if you think about it, I think that's where people kind of forget is that, yeah, president is, basically the figurehead of the United States. He makes his speeches and everything, but
Exactly.
there's more people behind the scenes than people even like. I guess they just forget that, there's other people there that are making the calls and giving these ideas.
Exactly. The president of the United States is like any other business. You have the CEO, but then you also have all the other execs that help make the decisions, and they can actually overpower the CEO if they have enough voting power.
Right.
It's not about just because, oh, I'm the fucking head boss, I can do whatever I want. No, it's literally like any other business, any other company. It's just that this company just runs the United States.
hmm And then if you would look at it at a different way, if you look at a communist country, it's completely opposite. The the figurehead is the one who's calling the shots,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what you don't want,
No,
obviously, because that's a communist and a dictatorship.
exactly. And then it's like you get the wrong person in power. I mean, I won't say communist is great. I'm not gonna sit here and make it seem like, oh yeah, I'm all for communists. It's just that it
Right.
just so happens that it's like in those countries that it's run by communists, it's always run by someone bad who solely abuses the power. Like,
Right.
like if you had someone who was super moral, obligated, really there for their country, it's like for all you know, communists could be good because if they're running the shots and they really care about their stuff and they don't have to worry about anybody opposing them because they don't like them, but they still have very good intentions, it can work out. Like that's the double edgedness of being of communism and being free, because
Right.
you live in a land of freedom. A lot of times people can oppose you simply because they don't like you or they don't like what you stand for or what you're affiliated with.
Or your views or opinion.
Exactly. Whereas like in a communist country, you always have someone bad with all that power, so it just looks like shit.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I said, don't think I'm all for communism. I'm not. But it's
Go
like
commies! No, it's
it's
like no.
it's just like when you like I said, just being open minded. When you think of it that way, you're like, damn, I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, that's. I mean, you have a good point there. I mean, obviously, like I'm not for or against. I'm just
It's like I
You
said,
just you just look at it differently.
you just think about it like, yeah, it's like we associate communism as a bad thing, and it's like, you know why? It's because the people that used it as a bad thing. It even
Right.
like I said, another segue. If you want to go back to Hitler with the whole swastika, that originally was something entirely different. He took it and monopolized it as something different. He made it evil.
What was a swastika?
Like
Wow.
it's that shape, but like I think if you flip it and it's going in the opposite direction, it was a whole. I think it was a Buddhism thing that meant something entirely different. It meant like peace or some other stuff like that.
Swastika. The swastika symbol is an ancient religious icon in the cultures of Eur- Eurasia, I guess. The left-facing version may also be referred to as swastika. It is used as a symbol of divinity and spirituality in Indian religions, including Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism.
Yeah, see, I knew, like I said, I didn't know the logistics of it, but it's like I said that at that one point, it didn't mean what it's associated with nowadays. It
Right.
was taken completely out of context and made to
So
look something bad.
he's basically took a symbol of good and
Yeah, it was peace and divinity, like it was meant to be like a spiritual thing, and he took it and made it into a murderous sign to support a group of
hate,
hate and
basically.
terrorists, basically. Fucking
Yeah.
dime. But yeah. So that's the whole thing about our opinions on political views, and I don't think we're done yet. We're still getting started. We still got some conspiracies to get into, but like we just wanted to give our ideas about the whole political thing. Like I said, I'm
Mhm.
not politically affiliated. I choose to vote for who I think will help better us in the long run, which I wish that a lot of people would think that way, because I feel like we could be so much better as a nation if we did.
Right.
I honestly, like I said, I don't even know if we learned this in school or not. If we did, I sure as fuck forgot. I don't know how the political parties came to be and why they exist.
To be honest, I don't even remember
It's like, I like I said, I don't know if we ever learned it and I just forgot, or if we never did. But it's like, why do we have these things?
I
And
don't
all we're
remember.
doing is fighting against each other instead of working together. We always say we're united. We're the best, strongest nation in the world. It's like, do you realize how divided we are compared to some countries?
Right. We're called the United States, but we're not even or united.
No, we're always divided, bickering amongst ourselves about stupid things because we're affiliated with a party or a political figurehead who we think is going to help better us as a whole. When it's like it doesn't matter if there's always going to be someone opposing them. Like I was like I said, it kind of like not saying like again the whole communism thing where like everyone's under one rule, but it's like it would be better if we were one party, like a united force.
Hmm. Yeah, we all have, we all work together, or again, have an open mind when it comes to ideas.
Yeah. Not
So,
saying get rid of opinions or your beliefs, but it's like when you are so bullheaded to pick one specific side because that's what you think is right, that you ignore everything on the other side, the
and
good
don't
and the
even,
bad, you're
right,
missing out on so many opportunities.
when you don't even take it, like, how do I word it? Like, so say, Basil has an opinion or a thought, or a view on something, and he tells me, well, I'm an open-minded person, so I'm going to, take that into account to what he said and, think it over in my mind.
Hmm.
And, because I'm open-minded, some of that stuff will actually stick in my mind, be like, cause it's like, oh, you know what? That actually makes sense. Not to, oh no, that all that's just a bunch of bullshit. That makes no sense at all. Like that means nothing, Like that's just how everybody is nowadays, and I don't understand how you can be like that.
Exactly. It's like have the why have the power to voice and share your opinions if everyone shoots it down? It's like that's the whole definition of opinion. It's your thoughts. It's not fact. It's not fiction. It's not false. It's not true. It's an opinion. So when you
Right.
say my opinion is wrong, what justifies your opinion being right? It's an
Exactly.
opinion. It's not a fact. It's not a fiction. It's something I believe. It even goes one step further to how religions are. It's an opinion.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, don't be an asshole and try to prove that someone's religion is wrong because you don't want to believe in it. If you don't want to believe in it, that's fine. Let them have that belief. It gives them comfort.
Right. That everybody has their. I mean, that's the whole point of the United States, isn't it? That you have your own opinion, have your own beliefs, and have that freedom to be able to do that. That's the whole point of the United States and people wanting to be here, is
Exactly.
to have that freedom to, if hey, they believe in this God or whatever, then it's what they believe in. So be it. Like,
Right, right. There's different religions where it's like someone believes in this God, someone believes in this God. There are some religions where there are a multitude of gods.
right
It's like some
now,
people
me.
believe it's like, oh, there's only one universe, or there's infinite universes. I believe there's infinite universes because it's like this shit is just unexplainable.
Hmm.
It's like it's like I don't care how good your science is. It's like this shit has existed since the dawn of time. You can't just determine with what limited knowledge you have and tools you have. Oh, this is correct. It's like, how do you know?
Right. I mean, we don't even have knowledge of half the Earth.
But yeah, we can determine the whole fucking solar system and universe.
Yeah, like no, come on, you're kidding me, right? Because that's not even. I don't even know how you physically or mentally even just accept that we have all the answers of the universe.
Exactly. It's kind of like if you want to go further, it's like how time is. We can't truly discover or determine how time works. It just exists. We just made our own rules around time to benefit us.
Right. Yeah. Just put it into the system of this is what time it is. This is how it's gonna work. There's 24 hours in the day. That's yeah.
Exactly.
Like oh man. But I don't know if you. For me, the way I look at it, um, you have from just kind of things that I've come across and kind of researched. Um, when they so you have multiple you have multiple different religions or whatever,
Mm.
but when it comes down to it, there's things that I've read and or heard that makes me come to believe that everything that they've talked about in their different spiritual books, whether it's the Bible, the Quran, or whatever, they
Yeah.
all somehow seem to have similar
Aspects.
beliefs and similar aspects, whether it's the story of like Adam and Eve or uh, Jesus, just stuff like that. And it's kind of interesting to think about because I what I read was something about even back before, they said that Jesus was born, it was said that, what was it? There is similar story from the Egyptian gods, basically.
Hmm.
And they had different names, obviously, but the entire story seemed very familiar, like very close to the whole Joseph and Mary and Jesus kind of story. It was very, it's kind of very, it's very interesting, to how you gonna have that a story that a coincidence, I should say, how you
Hmm.
gonna have that type of a coincidence back, that far back in time to, then have it happen again and again and again over time. That
Right.
it's
Right.
very interesting to think about. To whereas like I said, I believe that I mean, every religion is based around one. Uh, how do I word it? It's based around one higher consciousness or higher power, but because of your uh, place that you live or were brought up,
Hmm.
you have that different perception on what is God, basically.
No,
That's just yeah.
that actually sounds like really interesting. Something I'd like to dive further into myself. And you
That's
think
just
about it, you never know. It's like these beings we call gods could just be regular beings that just live in another dimension.
hmm
That in
I
our
believe that.
dimension they have these cosmic powers, where in other dimensions they're just plain old Joes. Like you can even go as a comparison. You can think of fucking Superman. On his home planet, he was a regular person. Like, granted,
Right.
his father was like one of the higher up people. I think he was he was up there. But when he came to Earth, he was a god. Think of it that way.
hmm
It's like, granted, same universe, same dimension, but in one place he was a regular, what we would be quote unquote human, whereas on our planet he is literally a god.
That's
Almost
true.
nothing can hurt him unless it's from his own home world. Think of it like that with the gods that we talk about, or the gods that people worship. It's like in our dimension they have these phenomenal powers and abilities, whereas in their dimension they're just regular beings. And it's like maybe they're trying to tell their stories through us in another
hmm
dimension. You never know. Like, if you want to think about it, I could get real fucking funny and bring up the fucking Futurama episode where fucking they introduce God as a fucking third, was it fourth dimensional being, and he's like
Something like
abducting
that.
everybody,
Yeah.
and like Bender is the one that basically saves them all.
Yeah, that was interesting.
But like, let's try
Yeah,
not
kind
to
of.
get too much off topic. Let's get back in the whole
Yeah,
election
sorry about
thing.
that.
It's all good. You know how it is where we
Yeah,
get a little sidetrack here, but you like it
yeah. Called being weird and woke
for a reason.
for a reason.
But yeah, like it's just this election in general was just, there were so
It's
many
very.
hoops and whatnot to go through, like the virus, certain areas being shut down. It's like the promises between both political parties that some of them probably tried to do and couldn't, or just some of them said to get you to vote.
That's true.
It's like,
Yeah.
it happens. And then more so, it's like my friend here, my boy Austin, has a interesting conspiracy he'd like to tell us. I believe you showed something about it on Facebook earlier with the old Biden and the three red lines. What's that about, man? I'm
Oh,
curious.
yeah. Okay. So let me bring it up here. So I'm sure everybody has seen the whole, the presidential signs that people put out in their yards. You have your Trump and Pence signs. You have your Biden and Harris signs.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I just kind of curious. If I came across something. So on the Biden sign, you have three bars or three red lines that are supposed to be, made up of make his E in
Mm-hmm.
his name.
I caught that. First time I
Yeah,
saw that, I was like, huh. It's like it's different. I mean, I get it, make it stand out, but obviously never really gave it much thought.
Right, right. And I think the way like I always say, I look at things differently than most people, and or you know, I believe in coincidences, but when things seem to add up, that's and or if you see evidence of things, I no longer believe them to be a coincidence. There's no way you can have that many coincidences and it not be real. You know what I mean?
No, exactly. It's
So
like
like,
anything but so much. It's like you could be so lucky until you're just kind of like, what the fuck's going on?
right, and that's kind of where you come to like question it. Obviously, question everything. So I did some research. So you, like I said, you have the three red bars or banners or whatever you want to call them
Hmm.
on the Biden sign. Now, he was a politician for, I don't know, 47 years or something like that. Um, people, he pretty much didn't do anything. Now, if you voted for him, that's fine. I Doesn't matter who you voted for. This is just this is a conspiracy. Doesn't matter your views on the political party.
Exactly.
It's just
Just giving you some knowledge. Deal with
mhm.
it where you will. Not saying, like I said, he's not shitting on Biden. He's not acting like, oh, I'm a Trump supporter. This is fake news. All that shit. It's just
This is
simple
just
knowledge.
it's just something to think about, and or just open your mind, let your mind open, and take it with a grain of salt and do your own research.
Exactly.
Now, what I so if you think about it, why? Okay, let me back up. So there's been rumors and or proof that have been said that Biden is and or who else would it be? It would be like the Clintons and the Obamas
Yeah.
work with China. Like they're very closely working with China on the under the radar, basically.
Okay.
So when you think about it, if you look at Biden's sign, he has the three red banners. Well, three red banners was back in 1950. There was a slogan. The Chinese people, what does it say? Was a slogan in the 1950s which called on the Chinese people to build a socialist state. So, three red banners or three red flags
Hmm.
consisted of the general line for socialist construction. So, if you look at his banner, so what just coincidentally, that's what they used for his banner. They used three red banners, and that just so happened to be a Chinese slogan for a socialist state. So right there, that's two things that are coming into contact and or adding up together. Now, is it true or is it false? I don't 100% know, but it's a good possibility that it might be, or it might not be.
Yeah.
Again, you take it with a grain of salt, but you think about it and you're with an open mind and you take in that information and think
Hmm.
that might be true or that might not be true. But again, I'm just giving you the information to take in and think about it for yourself, which a lot of people don't like to do. They don't like to think for themselves, but I won't say that, but I already did. So
No, that's a very interesting point you point out. Like, it's something, it's little things like that you wouldn't think about, at least especially to the general populace. Like you're like, oh, it's just an E. Like you're reaching, bro. It's like, but when you do the research on it, and it's like the similarity of that symbol matches with what you just said about the fucking Chinese. You're just kind of like,
right,
bro.
and you
It's like
and you know
even down to the color. And then
Mhm, exactly.
if you want to get like real stupid about it, when they were doing the whole polls for the Trump and the Biden, how Trump was technically red and Biden was blue.
Yeah.
It's like, why didn't Biden just use blue for the fucking E? Why do you use red with that specific shape to match that banner you were talking about? It's like, well, the sign is already blue. Why would he use blue on top of it? It's like he could have just used white to mix it in with his goddamn other letters, but he picked red. It's
Yeah,
like,
why?
it could have just been
Why
a contrast
red?
thing, so the red pops off the blue. It's like, yeah, it could have been, but why?
He could have just used white like the rest of his letters.
Again, it's like, yeah, it's like,
And
he made that one specific letter, that specific shape, in that specific color.
hmm
It's like,
again, that's 3 red banners. It makes sense.
it's like, that's the first thing people are gonna think when they hear this, or be like, oh, they're reaching, or all that other shit. Or like I said, the whole thing, like all the points that I just brought up, that's probably what people would think. Oh, the color scheme, the fucking reaching, it's just meant to look cool. It's like, yeah, okay, but when you, like I said, you do the research, which you did, and you brought up an interesting point. It's like that can't be just a random coincidence.
Exactly. That's what I mean. When you have things that seem to add up together, they connect somehow. Then how I don't believe it to no longer be a coincidence, because a coincidence is something, that, oh, that must just be I ran into this so and so the other day.
Yeah,
You know.
it's a rare phenomenon. It's not something that happens all the time. But when you
Yeah.
you're like, oh man, it's a coincidence. I ran into this person I haven't seen in years, but then you keep seeing them every day, and you're like, motherfucker, did you move here? Like, are you stalking me? Like, why do I keep seeing you every day all of a sudden?
That's when it changes to not being a coincidence,
Like,
because
are you
then,
you're like, now you're purposefully doing this?
yeah, yeah. So that too is where it comes in when when it comes to the conspiracies and or basically they call them a cult. The shadow government is
Mm-hmm.
a cult and or uh, evil satanic cult, I guess you would say. Um, when you do rituals, you need to do, there's certain things that need to be done in order to continue or move forward with the ritual.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, what's the word I'm looking for? When you want to uh, push an agenda, you put it out bit piece by piece and get people used to them seeing it. Correct.
Exactly. You're
You
testing the waters, basically. You don't want to hit them with it
yeah.
all at once. You want to give them just a taste. Like, I'm sorry, I'm about to use this now. It's like fucking crack.
Yes.
You give them a taste, and they get hooked, and then they just want more. They want to learn more. Like, in terms of like the whole what you're talking about right now, you give them a taste of that, excuse me, that conspiracy, or so to speak, and it's like they start or not a conspiracy, propaganda. Let's use that term.
Propaganda. Yeah.
You give
Propaganda.
them a taste of it, and then they're just like, I want more. I want to know more about this person. I want to get really in depth about this person. I want to like be all about this person. And like, in terms of like the whole conspiracy with the whole Biden and the China thing, like, do you not remember when people were on fucking Hillary about them damn emails, bruh?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a lot of reasons why she lost out on votes, is because that whole conspiracy about her allegedly leaking those emails, or not doing the proper security protocols, whatever you want to call it, that classified shit got out. And it's like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. That's yeah. So like they use subliminal. They have to use subliminal messaging to con- to continue with their rituals, because basically part of it is if they don't tell you what they're doing,
Mm,
they don't directly have to tell you. They put it in front of you, and your subconscious mind just goes along with it because you aren't thinking about it. It's psychological warfare, basically.
it's basically like, if you want to think about it, it's advertising.
Hmm.
It's like what internet businesses do when you watch a video, when you go on Facebook, when you talk about something to somebody through any type of device that can be listened into or recorded or seen, and then it's like you start seeing shit about it on like your internet. Like, I mean, I see it every day. This is how I know they obviously see what I'm looking at. Like, the minute I look up something or think about something on Facebook, I could be talking to somebody about it through a text message, and then I'm randomly seeing an ad through it on Facebook, and it's like, huh, that's
Yeah, I
not a
see that all the
coincidence.
time.
And then some people probably brush it off. Oh, that's a coincidence. It's like, how often does it happen though?
Hmm.
Just think about that. That's how you know they're obviously watching and reading everything you say and do.
Yeah, I see that happen far too often.
And then it's like, at that point you're like, all right, it happens. I get it. But it's like,
But still,
still,
that's not after the first or second time. That's not a coincidence. It's happening, and you
right.
just accept it because you've gotten used to that. Again, it's subliminal messaging. It's just there. It's basically I watched it was kind of like a documentary,
Mm,
and what they said that they do is they use your own psychological thoughts, mind, or whatever against you. So that's how Facebook, Instagram, all those notifications and stuff, they're using your own mind against you, basically.
yeah, they're profiling you.
Yeah,
They're
they're
s-
profiling and
they're
or
s- they're
programming you.
seeing your interests, your thoughts, and all that stuff. And then it makes you wonder. It's like, again, like, back to the political things. When you get certain parties that promises these things, they're like, huh, this resonates with me. I wonder why. They've been seeing what you've been talking about, what you're interested in, and then they go by a massive hole, and they'd be like, all right, these are the people I need to reach. I'm gonna
Hmm.
say these specific things to reach them in. And then that's how you get people that sometimes conform to different political parties. Like, I was a Democrat at one point, now I'm a Republican because shit happened in my life, and now this person just magically is talking about those things that I agree with all of a sudden.
Hmm.
Or
Exactly.
it's like, like I said, it's no coincidence.
Yeah, like again, so let me kind of get into it again. So yeah, so they use so in order to continue their ritual,
Mm,
they use the subliminal messaging, obviously, to show it to you what their plan is. Obviously, they're not going to come out right and tell you. They hide in plain sight. So that is right there again. If you think about it, you have the three red banners. It's in plain sight. People aren't going to think about that. They're going to. It's subconsciously in their mind. They just see Biden, and it's just his name.
yeah, yeah,
It's subconsciously they're just not gonna, or consciously, subconsciously, it's attacking them in their mind, but they're not. They're not. It's not registering to anything that they would even think about.
oh, definitely. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I was one of those people. I see those banners all the time, especially with the job we do, and it never
Hmm.
occurred to me, or I even never even thought of it that way. I just like, oh, it's a banner. I don't know why they have the E like that, but it's like, I'm not gonna focus too much on it. And then, like I said, you see the red E, and you're like, it's probably just a color thing, so the E pops. But it's like, why just the E? Why is the E shaped that way? Why is the E that color?
Hmm.
Like, when you do the research on it, and like I said, I don't know what, like, because like the way your mind is wired, it's a good thing. It makes you question everything. Like, you're a very cautious man. That's a good thing to be in this type of day and age. Don't just
Definitely.
falsely trust everything you hear and see. And the fact that it's like you got to that conclusion is like interesting, because it's like a lot of people would not think that way.
Hmm. I mean, again, maybe I'm wrong. Okay, it's just something to bring forward and open your mind and think about. That's what we do here at Weird and Woke.
Yeah,
It's not to we're not a news media. We're not trying to push an agenda. We're just trying to get you to think for yourself, to
exactly.
open your mind, think for yourself, and be consciously aware of things instead of being, a puppet or just, blindly following what you're told to do.
Exactly. I mean, like, even before I like really got into this, I started noticing like how open-minded I was, or how cautious I was. It's like, you ever, back in like your younger days, you would get in trouble for something, Were you ever one of those people that the minute you got in trouble, you ran through every possible scenario in your head as to why you were getting in trouble or why you were getting
Yeah,
called in for something?
yeah,
That
that
is
has happened.
that's a key right there that shows how overly cautious and analyzing you are, that you thought of every possible scenario as to why you were being called in. It wasn't just like, oh, I'm gonna just follow what they say and be done with it. No, you're like, what did I do? Like, what did I do this day? What did I do that specific time? What did I say? Like,
Hmm.
how did I act? Was it something I was wearing? Was it something I did? Did I offend somebody? Like, you go through so many scenarios in your mind.
I've definitely done that a lot in my
And
time.
I do that now, even to this very day. Like, every time I get in trouble for something, it's like
Right.
you just
I
think
did.
about it so much. It's like,
Well, I did that the other day when I got a text from one of the leads at work. He's like, "Give me a call after you get done with your route." So I was like, "Oh shit, did I
yeah,
do something or what?"
yeah. Like, you go through every scenario in your mind. And he's just like, oh, I was gonna ask if you could work the next day. I'm like, bruh,
Scared me there for a second.
right. But like,
And
if anybody
watch
of you
it.
guys out there think like that, that just means you are a very open-minded person. You may not even realize how open-minded you are. Even when you're
Yeah.
talking to friends and you just like, you never immediately shut them down or dismiss what they say. That just shows you're an open-minded person.
Yeah, it's definitely, like Basil said, in this day and age, it's good to be open-minded because once you close yourself off to other possibilities, you just, you know, you miss out on so much other stuff.
Like I said, just like Austin said, like there is so much deceit in today's day and age because of the technology we have now. It's so much easier to deceive people and force an opinion on you that you don't even realize was forced upon you. And
Exactly.
it's just ridiculous to where it's like some people really just limit themselves like that. And like I said, it's not just with political things. It could be with the most simplistic things. It's like, oh, I only like vanilla ice cream. Nigga, have you tried the other flavors? Do you know?
Right. That you branch out. I mean, okay. I'm picky when it comes to food, but sometimes I am open to, trying something new.
Yeah. But at the same time, it's like you're picky because you tried those said foods before and you just
Hmm.
realized you didn't like it, and that's okay. You were open enough to try it in the first place to then diagnose an opinion for yourself. It wasn't like
Right.
someone told you, "Oh, fish is banging. You should have this. You'll like it." And then you try it and you're like, "Oh, I like it." No, you tried it for yourself and
Hmm.
then realized, "I'm not a big fan of fish." Do other people like it? Of course. It's okay, and that's okay. I personally am not a fish person. It is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, depending on how you grew up too, if you had the frozen fish sticks and stuff, and then you eat regular real fish, it's completely different.
Oh, definitely. Like
So then you're
I love fish either way, but that's how I grew up. I ate that stuff. But then there are
right.
certain things my parents grew up and ate and they like it. Whereas I've
Hmm.
had it and I don't like it. And then it's like, well, they had it on a more, you know, that was their environment. That's what they ate.
Right.
Versus like now it's like I don't like that shit. Like my fucking I think it was my dad. I think it's my dad. Motherfucker like liver. I don't like liver.
Oh, I don't even want to. I mean, so there's certain things that I will try, and certain things that I won't try.
Yeah.
But I don't even want to try liver
No,
to.
I never tried it to where it's like if for some reason like I ate it without knowing what it was and I was like, oh, this is good. And then someone told me it's that, then I'd be like, okay, I'm kind of sad that I ate it, but it's like it's not bad. But like if I
Right.
consciously know, I'm like I'm not gonna want to try that shit.
Right.
And like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. Like it's still your opinion. It's not like someone forced it upon you. Granted, like oh, it kind of contradicts what you said. You're not open minded to try it. It's like it's not about me being always open minded. It's about me just not wanting to try it because I don't want to.
Right.
If other people like it, that's okay. I'm not saying other people shouldn't like it because I don't like it. That's where some people misconstrued things when it comes to opinions.
Mm-hmm. Now that makes sense. They just kind of close it down and yeah.
But no, like definitely that whole Biden thing just it really got me interested to where it's like I actually want to look that up on my own and do further research on it. It sounds really interesting. And then
Yeah. I
like I
mean,
said, between that and it's like there's always uh a conspiracy, so to speak, with a political figure. Like I said, we had Hillary with the whole emails, and then even now with the whole Donald Trump thing, where he would always like downplay it, and then he got it. It's like, did he get it though? Did he get it just to magically recover from it and then be like, oh, it's not that serious? Or it's like
Right.
another thing. It's like people were like, well, he did have it. It's like, but another thing you gotta understand, that Negro had world class fucking
Healthcare.
healthcare. He had doctors that know a lot more about it, as well as not just one doctor, multiple doctors, and not just here and there, around the clock, taking care of him. And then you also got to realize, even if he did have it, he could have been one of the very few people that just show no symptoms. He could have just been a goddamn carrier.
Carrier, yeah.
And that was another thing that was possibly fake news, is that he actually contracted the virus. And
Did he actually?
and you know, honestly, I could believe that he probably didn't, but just said he did, and then magically covered. And then, like I said, he recovered from it in like less than a week.
Mm-hmm.
Because like
Yeah,
you would like later you would see him out and about again with no mask on and shit. And then it's
because
like,
what Dave, they said his wife had it.
oh yeah, I remember, and she had it for weeks.
Yeah, so it was like that's interesting
It
because
is. It really is.
how it attacks certain people and it doesn't affect them.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a very interesting time to have all this stuff going on.
No, this is like
Be-
the best time to be open minded, because there's so many things going on that it's like you can't just blindly follow it. Like, you know,
Like,
that'd be stupid. Like, you know, like I said, another segue point is like the whole stupidity I find by now. It's like you have to order food if you want to go out for drinks. That makes no fucking sense. That's literally an economy thing to help boost our economy. Why? Because the first few months that you decided to close everything down, a lot of businesses either went out of business or significantly lost income.
that's what I was thinking too, actually.
I was like, you can't tell me all of a sudden you can't sit there and drink all day, but you can sit there and eat and then drink all day.
Right.
It's literally just an excuse to make you spend more money if you want to drink out.
That's what I was thinking too.
And then
to be
another
honest.
thing, it's like, oh, you have to wear your mask while you're in public, but then you can go to a fucking restaurant and take your
sit
mask
down.
off and sit down.
Yeah.
Another thing that kills me, you can't take the mask off till you sit down. Like, magically, when you get to that table, it puts up a fucking force field that protects you.
It's the most retarded thing I've ever heard. That makes no sense.
And then it's like, it's so dumb. It really is. And then it's like I'll even go further. You know, I doubt anybody from our job is gonna hear this, but if they do, so be it. You ever notice when you be at work and they tell you to stay 6 feet apart, even though you got your mask on?
Hmm.
I'm like, what the fuck am I wearing the mask for if I could still get it if I'm not 6 feet apart?
Right.
That defeats the purpose of
Is
wearing
it
a
the,
mask.
is it the mask supposed to protect me from getting it if I'm not 6 feet apart?
Right. It's like I should be able to be right on top of somebody as long as we're both wearing masks. Or even if they're not wearing a mask, I should be fine. That's the whole purpose of the mask.
Yeah, the mask is to protect me. If I'm wearing a mask, you're not wearing a mask. Well, then the mask should be protecting me.
Right. But it's like you got to be 6 feet apart. It can be airborne. It's like, well, how long can it stay airborne? We don't know that. There are many things in the air, and depending what part of the area you at in the world, there are other things in the fucking air too.
And they've changed the what it can do and can't do and all this other crap.
Yeah, before it's like, oh, it couldn't be airborne. Then later, oh, it could be airborne for like an hour before it
Certain-
dissipates.
yeah.
And then now it's like, it just stays airborne. I'm like, what the fuck?
Like-
Is it like a fucking Pokemon? Is it evolving?
And yeah, tell me how it evolves like that. Like, come on.
I was like, but, you know, I digress. That's just another, that was my little rant. Because I hate that shit. Like,
Oh no, I'm with her.
like me and Austin were delivery drivers for Amazon, so it's like when we go to people's houses and it's like I go to do a delivery, I gotta wear a mask now, and it's like obviously because I'm delivering to somebody's house, they're not gonna wear a fucking mask at their house. They're at their home. They're in their personal comfort. They're not gonna be wearing a mask. So it's like I'll go there and then it's like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't have a mask on. You could just sit right there. It's like, bitch, I have a mask on. That's the whole purpose of me wearing this damn thing, so I could be on top of you and still be fine. Take the damn
Right.
package.
That's again what they the fear. People are fearful of
Exactly. Like,
the whole thing.
we had the thing with Wolf hyping up the fucking fear of the virus, yet it's like you're going to leave certain areas open. Well, it's like, well, why are you going to leave areas open? Well, because we need money. That's all it is. It's like we need money.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to make up bullshit rules as to why you would need to do this if you want to do this because we need money. It's like you can only sit in excuse me, you can only sit in restaurants now for a limited time versus like, if it was like a bar or something, you could sit there till that motherfucker close or they kick you out.
Right. Sit there all day.
And like I said, now you have to order food and like you can't not just have drinks at your table. You have to have food with your drinks. So it's like you can eat all your food and then it'd be like, can I get another round? Well, the bitch, you better buy some fries with that.
Better have some more food.
It's like, it's a money grab. Because they were so quick to shut down everything, which did nothing in the long run, and then it significantly crippled the economy. And now they're coming up with bullshit reasons as to why you have to do certain things to help increase that economy. Because it's like, if you think about it, the fucking virus is still here. So it's like, so why are certain things still open? There are businesses that probably shouldn't have been open that are still open. Right. And then it's like, you think about it, you go into a restaurant, I really doubt there's all the people back in the kitchen wearing masks in that hot ass environment while they're cooking your food. So it's like, like I said, they might not. I don't know. I don't work in the kitchen. I don't know. But it's like, if you think about it, it's like, if those motherfuckers aren't wearing a mask while they're cooking my food, who's to say I'm not getting the damn virus already?
Right.
Because you're going out to eat. That's the first thing that should have been closed is food establishments.
They closed most of them, but then they opened them up again.
That's what I'm saying. It's like all the restaurants, for the most part, are still open. They might have closed for a little bit, but they're open. It's like that makes no fucking sense.
But yeah, you still have all these people in quarantine that don't have jobs now because their place is still closed, but you can't even go in. Like my mom's works for the bank.
Mm-hmm.
She's not even allowed to go and work in the office. She has to work from home.
Oh yeah, because there are times when my mom has to go to the bank and she can't go in the bank, and then it's like, they might have like maybe one or two tellers working the window, and I can only imagine how far apart they are. So unless you're like your mom's not a teller, she can't even work in the goddamn building because of bullshit reasons.
But you can go eat at a restaurant.
Exactly.
Get the beer.
Exactly.
And food.
Exactly.
What kind of ass backward shit? That makes no sense. You got, like I said, you got people that are out of jobs and need a job, but their business is closed because they're not allowed to be in that building.
Exactly.
What the fuck kind of dumbass?
It's like,
shit?
so you can have a bunch of people in restaurants together, but like a bank teller or like anything that is of more importance work-wise, they can't be there. That's like, why can't they just wear masks at their job as well?
And yeah, it'd be fine. Like, if a mask protects you, and you can wear a mask at your desk, then why can't you just do that then?
Yeah. And another thing, back to the whole election thing. This is what I thought about. First thing I thought about is when they introduced this whole mail-in ballot. I was like, if you can go everywhere else while wearing a fucking mask, why can't I go vote in person and wear a mask? And theoretically, you can, because I did go do that, because I never ended up getting my mail-in ballot anyway, which is another thing that I was concerned about, is the accuracy of those mail-in ballots. And it just proved my point. It's like, I never got my mail-in ballot. Who's to say if I did get it, it didn't get lost in fucking transaction? Or it's
or somebody else has it.
Right. It's like, you can't tell me. It like I said, like I would trust the electronic ones more simply because they have like a team that does their best to make sure it's hack proof. Where it's like, if a mailman be like, oh, fuck you, you're voting for Trump, fuck you, you're voting for fucking Biden, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, and just opens your shit and changes it. It's like, bro, how secure is that? And then, like I said, with the whole ballots, it's like, yeah, let's do the mail-in ballot. It's like, a good chunk of the population probably didn't get to vote because they physically could not do it. and
True.
you're like, oh, hey, we can do the mail-in ballots, and then a good chunk of them never got it. So it's like that some of those people just never got to vote. That could also impact on like certain places. It's like, oh, we know this state's gonna vote for fucking Trump. Let's make sure their mail-in ballots get a little fucked up so they can't cast their votes.
Hmm. See that like so basically, the way I looked at it, they used it as an advantage. So obviously, yeah, we have mail-in ballots before the whole coronavirus thing? Yes, because we had people that are in the army and stuff, they'd use
Exactly.
mail-in ballots. But they didn't what now because of the coronavirus, they use that fear tactic again, fear
Mm-hmm.
to make people not want to go out in person and to vote. So therefore, they're sending millions upon millions compared to I don't know the numbers that they were like last year before the whole coronavirus thing. But
If
I'm
anything,
sure I'm
I would say high thousands, like probably
yeah,
hundred
maybe
thousands compared to like
right,
millions or
right.
tens of millions. You know.
So compared to that, you have millions upon millions of mail-in ballots that are going out. One, the mail system is known for, losing your mail or, sending it to the wrong place.
No, exactly,
So
exactly.
so therefore it could your vote so yeah, you could have mailed your ballot in. Well, that could have easily got lost while they're sorting it,
Yeah,
you know.
and
Like
they're like, oh yeah, we the whole thing was like, oh, we have you put it in this unseeable envelope or whatever, and then you put that in another envelope and seal it so they can't see through your shit to see what you voted for. It's like, bitch, it is not that hard to see through shit if people really want to look for it. Or if they could just be really fucking, like, if you know what you're doing, they could be like, bitch, I can open this shit up and then reseal it without you knowing it.
right.
It's not that hard. It's not a fucking encrypted document, bitch. It's a piece of paper in an envelope. Like, come on. And then, like I
Yeah, I
said, that
mean,
like you said, the whole mail system not being known for its success rate of delivery. It's like, bitch, I never even got my mail-in ballot. I got so many fucking notes for the application. Like, I can't tell you how many mail orders or things I got for the application of the mail-in ballot.
to
Like,
actually get it.
yeah, like you had to fill it out. I got like 7 of those in the course of the few weeks while you could do the early mail-in. And then all of
Hmm.
a sudden, when I finally do it, I was like, it's going on 3 weeks. I never got the mail-in ballot. I was like, well, shit, now I got to go in person. I was like, what if I physically couldn't go in person? What if I was relying on that mail-in ballot? Now I just lost my right to vote because it never came to me.
No, that makes sense too. And two, like again, you could if you did get it, like you could have went and voted
Mm-hmm.
and then filled out that and mailed that in. They're not gonna know if you voted or not.
Exactly. They won't.
They're just gonna use. They're not gonna go through each ballot and see. Oh, this guy voted already. Let's not give this ballot in.
Mm-hmm.
People could have voted twice.
Oh, definitely. I could see that. Like when I went in person. They were like, "Oh, you were registered a mail-in ballot. You were registered as a mail-in ballot." I literally told them I never got it, and they had me go do it. I could have literally just lied to them. I didn't, but I could have lied and said I never got a
Right.
mail-in ballot when I did, and I could have theoretically voted twice.
So yeah, that whole
Like, granted, I could have just put false shit on my thing and voted twice. Now, granted, I'm sure they fact check that shit, but if they, like I said, like you said, it's the number increase from last year to this year probably multiplied by 10, if not more. It's like, and the fact is, we voted, like, the last day of vote was November 3rd. By, like,
yeah.
November 7th or 8th, they were like, oh, yeah, we have the fucking votes in and all that shit. I was like, so you counted millions upon millions of votes. At this point, I would say billions. I would go to billions because it's the whole United States.
Right.
I would go up to the billions because not everyone did mail-in ballots, but nonetheless, it's like you count mail-in ballots as well as virtual ballots in a matter of days
Yeah, I don't know
because
about
that
that.
makes perfect fucking sense.
That doesn't seem to add up. Especially in what you're not sleeping in those 40, 72 hours. You're not sleeping, you're just counting ballots. Like, come on.
Yeah, like it was by, like, granted, it wasn't announced yet, but like by, I shit you not, by like November 7th or 8th, they were like, already having to tally votes and everything up like that, like who was in the lead and who wasn't. I was like, normally it takes up to 2 weeks. I was like, it's only been 4 days.
Right.
How?
Yeah, that doesn't add up at all. Oh man. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I guess there's uh legal actions with. I guess Trump is doing something for
Yeah, no, I think
taking
he's
shit to
taking legal
court.
action to certain states
Yeah.
for the counting. And it's like, for all we know, he could be right. For all we know, he could just be a baby about it. Like,
Right.
it is what it is. Like I
See,
said,
like
I don't care who it is as long as they better us in the long run.
that's the thing too. Like I saw a post. It was like back when Trump won. Back what was it 2016? Back when he won.
Yeah.
It was like people were saying, "Oh, Russia was involved with getting him in, or
Mm.
they hacked the election."
Mm.
Well, now they just kind of like ignore that they were saying that because they're upset that he won, right?
Mm.
So, obviously people are going to be upset that he didn't win, right?
Yeah.
But now if they say anything that like voter fraud or whatever, oh no, we don't question that. That's not real. That wouldn't happen. Like, weren't you guys just doing the same thing
Oh
and
yeah.
back in 2016? Like, it's very hypocritical to say that not to question it when you were just questioning it 4 years ago.
Yeah. It's like, oh, Trump won. It's like, oh, he cheated. Trump lost. Oh, it's accurate.
Yeah, like it's very interesting, like to see that, and it right in front of my face, like to see people act that way, and say, "Oh no, it's not even. Don't worry about it." Like, you were literally just doing it 4 years ago because you were upset that he won.
Yeah.
Now, because he's out because he didn't win,
It's
it doesn't even matter.
exactly. Like, don't misinterpret that. Like, oh, we love Trump. We're all Trump. It's like, I personally, I don't like the guy for my own reasons. But it's like, it's just like you said, it's very hypocritical where you're gung ho about one person winning versus like you were up your ass about the other person
Hmm.
winning, or the one person you wanted to win losing. And
Right.
truth be told, um it's like Hillary backed out. She conceded willfully.
Hmm.
Like there could have been a chance where she might have had an upset. I doubt it, but she might have had an upset. But she's like, look, I know I'm not gonna win. I'm just gonna concede. I'm not gonna make myself look like a fool. And sometimes that's always a good thing to do. It's like, that's that demeanor that I concede with her. It's like she had that calm demeanor, like she handled it like an adult. Let's say it like
Right.
that.
Right.
Like I'm saying, like what I'm saying right now. I'm not saying Trump's acting like a child because, oh, I didn't win. You guys betrayed me. I want to recount. You call yourselves Americans or some shit like that. It's like, to some people that might be how they view him, as acting like a child. Whereas to others, they're probably like, yeah, maybe you guys jumped the gun a little bit.
Right. I mean, again, you got to be open-minded and see that there could be very well be a possibility that there is voter fraud. You
Oh,
just
definitely.
can't. Everybody, you just dismiss it, and just because your candidate won, you just dismiss it and accept it.
Yeah.
And
It's kind of like how, like you said, with Trump and Russia. It's like, who's to say, like you brought up that point with Biden and China, who's to say Biden didn't get help from China with the votes?
hmm
We don't know.
I mean,
We don't
yeah,
we don't
that's.
know.
Oh man, it's a whole. We could just keep going on.
Nah, but hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I'm not gonna lie, it felt good getting back into this. I missed doing this, just talking with my buddy, talking about all sorts of things, getting into the meat of topics that people are too scared or too oblivious to even think about or talk about.
That's the whole point of the podcast, talking about things that are people are too scared to even question
Yeah,
and or even bring their opinion up about it. Again, like that's why we said if you have a question or you want to talk, or even possibly come on the podcast with, let's hear your opinion.
Exactly. Like,
Hit us
you
up.
could look at it this way. Past episodes that we done, you could be like, hey, look, I just happen to start following you guys, and I have an opinion about a past episode. Come on here, hit us up. We'll gladly rehash it, and get your thoughts on it. Maybe you could fucking introduce us to new opinions or knowledge that we didn't even know about. Like, we're not fucking geniuses or proclaim to know everything in the universe. Just guys that bring you a different perspective to things that you might not have thought of.
This was, yeah. So, yeah, make sure you check us out at Weird and Woke Pod on Instagram and Twitter. Again, we have a discount code for all our listeners. That's WNWPOD, all uppercase, WNWPOD. That's 15% at checkout when you go to weirdandwoke.com. That's weird, the letter N, woke.com.